Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what I said. I didn't know. I knew that one was there. That's what I was saying.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing,
Hello.
John. John.
I'm gonna have to move. Miss McClendon,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
gonna put this right behind you, okay? So,
You
hang-
can put behind me, why?
well, it's behind you, but I just trying to move it away from you.
Okay, I'm blocking it.
Well, no, I think we're okay now. Just be careful when you step out, okay?
Okay then, all righty, cool.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Calumet Public School District 132 Board of Education Special Session Agenda has come to order at 6 p.m. Roll call, John?
Yes, Alman, absent, Brown. Here. Carr,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Ivy. Here. Story. Towers. Yes. All right.
Pledge to the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comments. If you intend to speak, please fill out completely a questions and comments form and present it to the superintendent secretary at this time. The board will be prepared to address those comments related to the agenda within a reasonable time. However, the comments may be forwarded to the superintendent for an individual response. No other discussion or action will take place. Please remain seated until you are recognized by the board president. Every person intending to speak must come to the podium to state your comments and questions. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay, the first one we have is Janice Harrison.
Okay, go ahead.
We have her.
Okay.
We're back out here again for the same garbage that we were out here the other night for. Now, if I recall, you unanimously said Ms. Harris could stay as president until April. It's on tape. So you can't say you didn't say it because it's on tape. Here we are again. Out here with the same garbage. Talking about the same mess. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I don't know who you all are listening to, but whoever it is, you listen to the wrong people. You are listening to the wrong people. Because Angel has enough now to sue this board. And I am willing to help you financially to soon. I am sick and tired. We come to these meetings, the children is nowhere on that agenda. Nothing on there but some mess. That's all you all are interested in. And I happen to listen to the tape because someone taped it. And I happen to hear a board member talk about me on this board. I couldn't hear up here, but it's on the tape. And I have already introduced it to my attorney. Now, I'm going to tell you all something. You need to get it together or you need to step out that board because you're not helping anybody do a doggone thing. Everything. He said this and she said this and this happened and that happened. I do not take my life on he said. I had heard that Miss Ivy had said something. But I don't deal my life on he say, she say. But then when the person about to take over to my house, it wasn't no longer he say, she say. Now, I am sick and tired of all that. And so this is the thing, I went out there in the cold to help you all get on this board. Never again in this life, never will I ever help you all do anything. But, Angel, I mean what I said. We're gonna get a lawyer. I am not gonna be putting up with this mess every time I come to a board meeting. And you're wondering about why the light bill so high. Well, every time I turn around, we out here having a meeting. Light bill supposed to be high. This is ridiculous. And I was on Zoom the other night. It is honest to God ridiculous the way you treated your superintendent. It's ridiculous. You all should be ashamed of yourself, but I know you're not, because you ashamed yourself, you wouldn't be doing it. But I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna bite off more than you're gonna be able to shoot. You really are. Just keep in mind, Angel, I got you.
John?
Yes, next is, Ms. McClendon.
Yeah, we're gonna get a lawyer.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, I would just like to say this, that I would like to make a correction on what I said at the last meeting, when I said about the bonds and all of that. Really, in actuality, I don't know if the $311,000 was paid last year for the bonds that were supposed to have been paid. I want to bring that to your attention. The next thing I want to bring out is that the interest that we were talking about, that this district would have to pay every year. I looked at some documents and I saw, I believe that interest were retired, which means that interest was paid up front. So who got that money? It's up to the board to look for that. I'm about to die. But one thing I want to say is this. As a community member sitting back observing things, I think you all have got into your emotional and personal issues. I really do. And one thing I want to say, with this agenda right here, where it says the public speak now, this is old school. Like I said, the head of the snake been cut off, but the snake is still moving. Because how can we ask you all questions now that you all going to discuss later? This is some of the old regime. You all better pay some attention who you all are listening to. People are still trying to run this board and not even here. You all know that the public was supposed to speak after. How can we ask you all questions that you're going to discuss? That was resolved before. Now here it is, back on the agenda. Who put it up there? Who made this, who brought this back to the board? This is old school, because you don't want the community to have a voice. This is what Dr. Reynolds had. She didn't want the community to be involved. And guess what? She put us at the very edge. And at that time, the president went along with it. Because they do not want us to have a voice. But you know something? Stand back and check your own heart. You all are going backwards. This is backwards right here. I don't know about your discussion privately, but somebody whispered in your ears. But I'm going to tell you, it's the old regime that's trying to keep the community silent and trying to bring this whole garbage back in. And not only that, rule this board as it was ruled before. Check your heart. I know what, I've been here a long time. I know what I see. This is the old stuff. You are not even dealing with the issues of somebody that wrote a resolution upon before. What did y'all do with that? Resolution was wrote before. Nobody had paid that any attention. Before you can start getting rid of other people, I think you need to check your own folks that's on your board that you need to deal with. If you wrote up a resolution, I want to know the result. I'm a community member and I pay the tax. Okay? You're doing things and you are regressing. The kids are not being addressed, the community is not being addressed, and I see that snake. The snake head is cut off, but the body is moving. I see it.
The last one is Ms. Barksdale.
Good evening.
First, I want to start off just to kind of piggyback off of what you said. I want to encourage each of you to consider reading and rereading the board member oath and conduct and board member code of conduct. So speaking of, in the last scheduled board meeting, Madam Board Member Mrs. Almond made a public statement accusing Board President Harris of discrimination and harassment. And though Ms. Harris has had ample opportunity, she has yet to publicly deny, apologize, and denounce discrimination against the same gender-loving community. Ms. Harris, there are children in our district and community, teachers and staff members, and as you know, board colleagues who are same gender-loving. We're all adults here. There is no place in School District 132 for any kind of discriminatory behavior. Ms. Harris, I challenge you to lead in proposing a motion today or by the next scheduled board meeting to introduce an amendment in the Calumet Public School District 132 Board Policy, Section 2 and 80-E, Board Member Code of Conduct on Standards and Principles with an addition of number 13, and should read as follows. As a board member, I will not engage in discriminatory conduct or make comments towards another board member or any employee of School District 132, whether written, verbal, or visual, including electronic communication, whether intentional or not, based on age, marital status, mental disability, physical disability, race, religious belief, gender, or sexual orientation, and should be considered board member harassment and unacceptable. On a lighter note, I believe it's fair to say that some of you would agree that I am passionate about School District 132. I believe in serving as a partner and creating necessary opportunities for all of our students to reach their full potential. And I have been asked and encouraged by members of this community and even administrators of this district. And with the support of my husband, I am announcing that my candidacy for school board member on the April 4th, 2023 election. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Action items, 5.1, adoption resolution to remove board member Sanithia Harris from the office of President of Board of Education. Be it hereby moved that the Board of Education approves the resolution to remove Sanithia Harris as board chair. Board of Education is presented. Question?
We need a motion.
Motion? Motion by Chris Towers, second by Consuela Brown. Question?
President Harris, the board asked me to just kind of go over this real briefly with you, so that you understand what's happening here today and you want to pursue your rights as articulated in this resolution, you can. So essentially what the board is considering today are charges against you that the board, if it passes it, considers appropriate to remove you from the presidency of this board. Does not remove you as a board member. I want to be clear about that. You still are an elected official and a board member in good standing until your term is up. And if you want to run again, you have every right to do that, of course. Right? So we're just talking about the presidency role. So your rights from this point on, if you want to contest the charges as presented in the resolution, by 7 p.m. tomorrow evening, that's the 30th of November, you need to email the board a request. It doesn't have to be anything too specific, but hey, like a hearing on these charges, at which time the board will set a date for a hearing in which you are entitled to present whatever you wish, and the board will present their viewpoint on why these charges are appropriate and warrant the removal from the president's position. You're of course welcome to bring any witnesses on that date. You can bring your own counsel at your own expense if you'd like as well. And I think I've got everything on that option. If by 7 p.m. tomorrow night you do not request a hearing, these charges will be admitted and will be removed effective at 7:01 p.m. tomorrow evening as the board president, and the board will consider a replacement for the vote. Any questions on anything I just said before we have a discussion about it?
No.
Discussion on the motion, otherwise we can call a vote.
Is there any question?
The accusation.
Okay.
Is it a question or a comment?
It's discussion on the motion, so you can feel free to ask a question.
The motion is on the floor, so
But either
you
one.
want to ask a question about
We'll
the
have a
motion.
discussion about the motion.
Because we got to vote.
That's appropriate.
It's-
Right. Either
Hold
one.
it.
Either comments or questions.
Comments, questions, if you don't have anything, we'll call for the vote.
A motion, Mayor,
Roll call.
roll call, John.
Yes. Almond? Yes. Brown? Yes. Carr?
Yes.
Harris?
No?
Ivy?
Yes.
Story?
Yes.
Towers? Yes. Motion carried.
Okay?
My lord, you're gonna eat.
I'm sorry? A motion to adjourn would be appropriate as action item 5.2 is kind of redundant until we know the outcome of that.
Okay. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion by Chris Towers, second by Consuelo Brown. Roll call, John.
Yes. Almond?
Yes.
Brown? Yes. Carr?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ivy?
Yes.
Story? Story?
Yes.
Okay. Towers? Yes. Carried at 6:14 p.m.
All right, thank you. Motion adjourned. I mean,
Okay, let me
adjourned.
turn it off.
So we need to get your thoughts.
Okay, let me turn this off.